folks, here we go on a Tuesday morning, the 28th day of January. Can you believe it? First month almost gone. Yeah. I'm George Grant saying welcome to today's edition of Gudday Grenada. And as always, interesting program coming your way this morning. I see that Mr. Franco, yeah, man, we're applauding a lot of people this week. Mr. Franco is up first this morning. Good morning to you, John, and congratulations. Anthea Rello is chiming in second. Hey, she's still, not at the top, but close to the top. Just let's scroll along here and see what's going on there. Yeah. Folks, only one ship in town this morning. Haven't had a chance to look at the schedule to see which one it is. Fairly big one. And looks like they're in for a pretty good day. Nice sunny skies here on the Spice Isle again this morning. Third this morning, Mr. Peter Bishop out there in Brooklyn. Good to see you, Pedro. Claude Pudna saying good morning. And Benedict Cador with his terrific Tuesday. Good morning to all of you guys. And Kipling Francis is sending his blessings, always. And do me a favor, while I go through the rundown, I'm sure that other people are going to be popping up. So when they get there, just say good morning to them for me, all right? Okay. This morning, in the next hour or so, 58 minutes or so, what are we looking at? Well, the government of Grenada continues to monitor the well-being of Grenadian students in China. Yeah, that's been a major concern of a lot of people here. I think there are, about 17 students studying in China. And you hear what the government, the latest that they put out. And actually, it was probably the most comprehensive release that they have put out so far. I'll be reading that for you in just a wee bit. Then, we need to keep up the fight against domestic abuse. Yeah, I have a short video. Again, it's heart-wrenching, but I do believe that you really do need to see this. You really do need to see this. For those of you who may be inclined to domestic abuse, take a look at this. Take a look at this. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Today's inspirational comes from a very widely acclaimed lady by the name of Maya Angelou. Again, that's a short video. It's about 2.5 minutes long or so. We're going to play that for you. Then we will get into the national report. And guess what? Yaman, Mr. Roberts will be with us this morning for his regular Tuesday morning visit. And a little while ago, he gave me a heads up. I'm coming to talk healthcare this morning. Okay. Ray is coming to talk healthcare this morning, so that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay. So that essentially is your rundown. And once again, Goofy George here forgot to stick his little thing up there, his little graphic. Well, you can read through that really quickly. So there you have it. In the meantime, let me say good morning to, who else? Grenada Sunshine is saying good morning to you guys. Hello, Grenada Sunshine. I see you're out there in full force this morning, Sunshine. Ramon Frame and Margaret Francis are both there as well. Nice to see you folks. Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks here. The government of Grenada is continuing to closely monitor the well-being of it's 11 Grenadian students who are currently in China, not 17, my error, my bad, sorry. Particularly those studying in the city of Wuhan. As of January 27th, no Grenadian students were known to have contracted the virus. That's the coronavirus. A memo from Grenada's ambassador to the People's Republic of China, Debbie David. A memo from Grenada's ambassador She's the ambassador to the People's Republic of China. Her name is Dr. Abby David. I think she's the daughter of Minister Peter David, gave assurances that the embassy has been in frequent contact with the students and will continue to follow up with them to ensure that they are well supported. At the time of this brief, the ambassador said the students are safe and observing the lockdown protocol put in place by the Chinese government. You better. Following the shutdown of Wuhan and other affected cities to help curb the potential spread of the coronavirus, it was acknowledged that persons could be left with reduced supplies. Dr. David reassured that the Grenada Embassy will help to facilitate requests for supplies if or when students require such. Dr. David was among foreign diplomatic envoys in China who met with the officials of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday for an update on the outbreak, which has, to date, affected 2,744 persons, causing 80 deaths. Now, this release came out yesterday. I understand that the death toll is now up to 81, maybe even more, I don't know, but the last I heard was 81. The Chinese government also assured that it is taking firm measures to detect and treat the virus, including increasing medical staff and developing clinics to treat infected persons. Acknowledging the gravity of the situation, the government of China assured that it will do everything to help foreign nationals, including the provision of needed supplies and a 24-hour hotline to connect with the government in order to make requests for supplies. An emergency hotline has also been established for reporting any concerns. The Chinese government is also discouraging the evacuation of foreign nationals at this time, so as to help isolate and potentially curb the spread of the virus. The government of Grenada will continue to monitor the situation and provide necessary updates to the nation, especially to concerned family members. Okay. That's the text of a release which was put out by the GOG, the government of Grenada, sometime yesterday. Just let me get back here. Grenada Sunshine says, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Oh, yeah, I read that already. Lydia James says, it's now 106, the death toll from the virus in China. 106. This thing's growing. It's growing. Keep an eye on it. All right, now, Anthony DeRig says, question, what is in place to screen people coming from China? I just read on Facebook that a plane registered in China landed at the airport this morning. Yeah, Anthony, I guess we're going to talk about that a little bit when Ray comes in this morning, because I was also given a heads up about that. I am reluctant to go in that direction because you know how our people disappoint us by the things they say in social media. So I just want to be sure. Okay? Now, let's move on from the virus for just a wee bit. While I admit that I haven't been hearing much about domestic abuse cases in the last 6 months or so, here is a reminder that it is a scourge that we need to continue fighting against. Take a look at this. Heart-wrenching.
I got flowers today. No, it's not my birthday or anything special like that. We had an argument last night, and he said a lot of cruel things that really hurt my feelings, but I guess he's sorry because he got me these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not our anniversary or any other special day. Last night he threw me into a wall. And choked me. And then beat me till I passed out. I woke up bloody and bruised all over. It was actually a nightmare. I guess he is sorry though, because I got these flowers today. I got flowers today. No, it's not Mother's Day or any other special day. Last night he beat me again and again and again. It was worse, much worse than any other day before. He wanted to sleep with me, and I'm on my period, so I wasn't up for it. A couple of kicks, punches to the face, and he had his way. I got flowers today, and today is actually a very special day. It's the day of my funeral. Last night he beat me to death. If only I had the courage and the strength to leave him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten flowers today.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? I hope that's a wake-up call for people out there who may be watching and maybe so inclined. Also joining us this morning, I see here Isaac Opie Joseph and Judah Moses Wilson and a few other people. Folks, let me get back here to social media. Hey, the Vespres are here this morning, and right next to each other, man. Carlene and Bradley. Welcome, folks. Cloud Putton says, Mr. Grant, I hope what they're saying about our people in China is true and not make up stories. Like I said, you just don't know what to believe anymore. You really don't know what to believe, and it's sad when the population gets to the point where stuff that is being told to you by people in authority, you just don't believe. Just don't believe. I mean, you don't believe me? Take a look. When, as soon as I start the national report this morning, everybody gone south. Not everybody, that's an exaggeration. But you notice, and we've talked about this before, the national report comes on and people just tune out. That is a sad, sad reality. John Franco says, sorry, no one has the right to hit a woman for any reason. Yeah, John. Yeah, John. Anthea Rello, about that video you just saw, she says, a sad reality. Yes, Anthea, sad. All right. Having done that, I mean, I had two depressing stories to start this morning. Let's perk things up a little bit. A little inspiration for you. I don't know how many of you, not don't know, I do know that many of you in the audience are fans of this lady you're about to see. Her name is Maya Angelou. And so I thought I should share this little piece with you. It's one of her inspirationals. This is an incredible lady. Watch this.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just because I laugh, as if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words, you can cut me with your lies, you can kill me with your hatefulness, but just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance as if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling and bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, wow. There I go.
Inspection and licensing have begun, and at Hubbard's, we want you to be ready. From January to February 15th, we're offering vehicle owners with single registration letters 1 to 2,500 and plural registration letters 1 to 250, 10% off our new torque tires and Power Max batteries. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit us today at our motor department in Mungay or our tire bay in Grandance, located near Hubbard's Building Supplies.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
One more for the road. Look, I find you had a little too much to drink, you know. Let me drive. Nah, man, I good.
Alcohol causes drowsiness, slow response time, distorted vision, impaired decision-making, blackouts, decreased coordination. Drinking water does not make you less drunk. Never drink and drive. It takes only a second.
Look, I'm really sorry.
Sorry? Sorry can't bring back my sister. You've been drinking. I can smell it. Why?
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us
as we energize our Spice Island.
Renlec, energizing our Grenada.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
All right, it had to happen sooner or later. Margaret finally put me in the doghouse. She's actually put me to stand in the corner. She pointed out to me that right after that Maya Angelou piece, I forgot to turn on my microphone. There I was. What I was actually saying is that this lady is Maya Angelou. She's just an incredible lady. And I try to balance our programming, you know, where sometimes we bring you the good, sometimes we bring you the bad, sometimes the so-so, whatever, okay? We just try not to overdo it in any direction whatsoever. We've also now been joined by Jennifer Myers, who says, "Good morning to you, George. I'm here in the Spice Country. Yeah. Soaking up some of the beach and warm sunshine before I head back to that cold New York weather." Yeah, I know it's gonna be hard to leave, but we ain't going anywhere. You can pop on back. Got a lot of flights, a lot of airlines flying in here anytime. Folks, here comes your national report.
Government continues to monitor well-being of students in China in wake of coronavirus outbreak. Details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the details to the news for Monday, January 27th, 2020, I am Sherry Ann Noel. The government of Grenada is continuing to closely monitor the well-being of the 11 Grenadian students currently in China, particularly those studying in the city of Wuhan. As of January 27, 2020, no Grenadian student is known to have contracted the virus. A memo from Grenada's ambassador to the People's Republic of China, Dr. Abby David, gave assurances that the embassy has been in frequent contact with the students and will continue to follow up with them to ensure that they are well supported. At the time of this brief, the ambassador said the students are safe and observing the lockdown protocol put in place by the Chinese government, following the shutdown of Wuhan and other affected cities to help curb the potential spread of the virus. It was acknowledged that persons could be left with reduced supplies. Dr. David reassured that the Grenada Embassy will help to facilitate requests for supplies, if or when students require such. Dr. David was among foreign diplomatic envoys in China who met with officials of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday for an update on the outbreak, which has to date affected 2,744 persons, causing 80 deaths. The Chinese government also assured that it is taking firm measures to detect the threat to the virus, including increasing medical staff and developing clinics to treat infected persons. Acknowledging the gravity of the situation, the government of China assured that it will do everything to help foreign nationals, including the provision of needed supplies and a 24-hour hotline to connect with the government in order to make requests for supplies. An emergency hotline has also been established for reporting any concerns. The Chinese government is also discouraging the evacuation of foreign nationals at this time, so as to help isolate and potentially curb the spread of the virus. The government of Grenada will continue to monitor the situation and provide necessary updates to the nation, especially concerned family members. Moving along, the Office of the Ombudsman will be expanded and upgraded to function as a national human rights institution for Grenada. The announcement by Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Peter David. He was speaking as Grenada came up for the third review of its human rights record by the UN Human Rights Council's Universal Periodic Review UPR Working Group in Geneva. Minister David says the decision falls in line with efforts to establish a national human rights institution consistent with the Paris Principles.
This decision was taken after 3 national stakeholder consultations facilitated by the Commonwealth Secretariat in Grenada in 2016, 2018 and 2019. My delegation looks forward to continued engagement with the Commonwealth Secretariat, OHCHR and other development partners to make this a reality.
The Grenada delegation was commended by the representatives from Seychelles for the move to establish the institution, as well as to enact legislation to improve human rights.
And positively noting consultations held towards the establishment of a national human rights institution, Seychelles recommends that Grenada ensure the timely establishment of a national human rights institution that is in line with the Paris Principles. Seychelles commends Grenada for their efforts to improve the constitutional and legislative frameworks to protect and promote human rights, and in this view positively notes the enactment of the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act, the Juvenile Justice Act, and the Electronic Crimes Act.
Grenada is one of the 14 states to be reviewed by the UPR Working Group during the session, which ends on January 31st. Grenada's first and second UPR review took place in May 2010 and January 2015, respectively. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Grenada, it's time to celebrate our 46th anniversary as an independent nation as we prepare for the future through empowerment, growth, and long-term sustainable development. Let's show our true patriotism by participating in the following events. The 46th Anniversary Cultural Extravaganza in St. Andrew on Saturday, February 1st. The National Cleanup Drive from February 1st to 6th. And wait, that's not all. The National Colors Day and Inter-Ministries Competition on February 6th. Then, on February 7th, we head to the Made in Grenada Expo and Military Parade at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. Happy 46th, Grenada!
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health is laying the foundation for a more reliable, efficient health sector through the emergency medical or ambulance services. First responders are participating in 3 days of training that will equip them with the knowledge and skills to perform medical services en route to the hospital. The emergency medical services will see responders dispersed at strategic locations at clinics. Director of Emergency Medical Services, Dr. Daniel St. Louis, says the training is the groundwork for the establishment of a better functioning ambulance service.
An ambulance service, but an ambulance service that is dependable, that is timely, so that we can, as earlier said, help to avert pain and suffering and try our best to save lives. The general plan is that when EMS gets started sometime in the future, that we're going to have our ambulances and our EMTs, emergency medical technicians, the folks who are going to be working on these ambulances, distributed around the island in strategic locations to ensure a couple of things. One, that response time is as short as possible when somebody needs help, and 2, that you get treatment started as soon as possible. Definitive treatment would be at the destination hospitals, Princess Alice, St. George's, Princess Royal, but en route, our individuals, our EMTs would be able to, they would be trained to have the capacity to be able to at least start the treatment so that these patients don't have to wait so long before something is done for them to alleviate the pain, to alleviate their suffering.
Health Minister Honorable Nicholas Steele describes the training as timely as the ministry continues to explore and implement measures to improve the health sector. As the health ambassadors who will have the first contact with patients, he encouraged the participants to be serious about the roles.
They will be seeing you as the face of our health services out there. I.e., they will be seeing you when you drive by in an emergency vehicle. And how you do that will dictate the impression they have of the level of professionalism we have here. So you are not just emergency responders. but you are ambassadors of the health system.
Training facilitator Dr. Shannon Langston says the training will be done in accordance with U.S. and national standards.
In addition, we'll be working to develop 434, the emergency dispatch system, communication systems, training instructors so that it's ongoing training rather than relying on outside help. Developing ongoing education, assisting with protocols, and developing medical oversight under Dr. St. Louis. With this EMT training will also come new career opportunities as well as improved medical care to the public. EMTs will be trained to U.S. and national standards, and we will assist Grenada in developing their own national standards for EMS work, as well as ensuring that there's a minimum standard met before people are working in the pre-hospital environment, that ambulances are equipped appropriately for the care delivered.
The Emergency Medical Services hotline is 434. Moving along, Saturday was a busy day for the National Celebrations Committee, which successfully pulled off two of the major events that form part of Grenada's 46th Independence Anniversary celebrations. The day began with a motorcade from Burns Point, St. George's, moving along the Carnage onto Scott Street to Church Street, Melville Street, making its way through River Road onto the Eastern Main Road with stops at various locations. During a stop at the Latan Junction, Parliamentary Representative Honorable Oliver Joseph spoke of the significance of the area in Grenada's road to independence.
We are happy to see the turnout here. Where we are in Latan Junction, there is a monument right behind me that marks the beginning of the struggle for independence. So St. David's rich in history with the struggle by Sir Eric Matthew Gary to gain independence of Grenada. And today, as we celebrate our 46th anniversary, with all the colors and all the people coming out, I'm extremely pleased to see all the turnout and the discipline and the lovely colors, and just to encourage every one of us to continue to enjoy all the activities on the 7th of February, which is our big day at the National Stadium. I want to invite all of you to come out and show your appreciation, come out and show your patriotism for Grenada as we are becoming a very mature nation. Soon we will be swiftly as a nation. We have come a long way, we still have a long way to go.
The motorcade then proceeded to Grenville with a stop at Pearls before heading through St. Patrick and down the Western Main Road, terminating at Burns Point. Later on Saturday, the attention turned to the Surtees bus terminal, where defending Independence Calypso monarch Sean Niles, Sour Serpent, successfully defended his title. He performed in position number 6 with his selection, The Bodyguard.
When they say me country poor, I say but me crime rate low. Cost of living high, much things we ain't had to buy. They say up to now we can find oil. I tell them we have the richest style. They say CBI gone through, we still have Sanders and SGU. Something tell me fight, for me nation fight. I say I go fight, to set the naysayers right. So I put on me back a jacket, listing nice green and gold. I am ready to defend the country, and I know I am afraid of soul.
I just thought that we have a lot of things to be joyful and happy about, in the nation, rather than look at the negatives. Every country has its own downsides. So it was an opportunity for me to take what happened in the last year. Anderson Peters, and Mr. Killer and so on, to use as impetus, to use as a catalyst to come up with a positive song.
What's your views on the level of calypsos that came in the 2020 competition? You would have sung in the first half, so you had the whole second half to actually hear what your other competitors were coming with.
I think the calypso in the defense commission reflects the right perception of calypso across Grenada for carnival and so on. Work has to be done. Even me, I will have to do all the work, but I think composition aspect of the calypso is lacking quite a bit. Right, but tonight was pretty good. I think it was better than last year.
Placing second was Samantha Dixon Royalty, who performed in position number 2 with the selection The Patriot, and Keturah George third with I Can't Stop Loving You. Here now are highlights of Keturah and Samantha's performance.
I remember the days when we used to cook one calado, roast bread, and oil along on the block. Now children playing hopscotch and marble, and got no time for no trouble. Now those days were remarkable. Yes, you are happy, even though we had struggled. So I say, bring back the love that we had to our home, so our children who we are. They said, I can't stop loving Grenada, although some want to spoil my country, want to tarnish my beauty. I can't stop loving Grenada, although some army crime rate rising, banditry inflating. I moan and I groan every time a little youth get killed, but Grenada, I love you still.
Former Independence Mona Kelly Klein placed 4th. And with that, we come to the end of the National Report for Monday, January 27th, 2020. I am Sherry Ann Noel, thanking you for viewing.
You guys are kind of quiet for this morning's edition of the National Report. Wow, wow, wow. I wonder if that's a good sign or a bad sign or what kind of sign. Pilgrims, he has arrived. Mr. Roberts is here. He's getting all saddled up. And we're going to go to him right after this little break here. Hang on.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Conveniently located in the Grenadian Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe.
Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadians will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep,
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Yeah, there we go. Good morning again, folks, and good morning to you, Mr. Rabbats. How you doing, sir?
Well, I would not complain as usual.
Never complain, never complain.
Your air condition is very accommodating this morning.
You know, yesterday Ruggles was in here and it was working so well I had to turn it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the perfect weather.
Yeah, man. Isn't that beautiful? We've been having some nice weather.
Well, that's true. And having left the open arena and ventured into your studio, it's a nice transformation.
Yeah. Is this weather a sign that Mr. Dry Season has arrived?
Well, I hope it's not that bad. I hope we have, not just intermittent showers, but lovely showers that we wouldn't struggle for water at any stage during the 366 days. I hope we would have a flow of water, but that will only be possible, I guess, if the heavens open up and allow some rain to flow.
You know, I just realized for the first time this year we have 366 days. You're on top of things, Ray, man. Jeez.
I hope so.
So what's up your sleeve this morning, bro?
Well, I have been following mainly sports these days. I looked at I didn't see the conclusion, but it had to be a dramatic conclusion with Roger Federer and Sandgren. A very unknown name from the United States, should have beaten Federer, Federer just had the depth and whatever it took to resist saving 7 match points in the 4th set and come back and did win the 5th and final set 6-3. But I mean, I didn't expect him to be that tough, that's Sandgren. So we've seen a pretty good Australian Open thus far. And this is the second encounter Federer has had to go the distance and actually survived. He had 4 match points against him playing in the round of 16, and he survived it. And tonight he survived it. Last night he survived it again. He's going to be playing Djokovic in the semifinals, and Nadal. I can't remember who's the other semifinal. But I also been looking at cricket this morning. Australia and India. India World Youth Cup 233, they were struggling. Towards the end, they got 50 quick runs in about 5 overs. But Australia all of a sudden just folded. When I left home, they were 37 for 4, 41 for 4 in 11 overs. I don't know what's the reality now, but it just shows that, sports, you can hardly just say it would follow apart. I mean, everybody thought Australia was going to just have a smooth part, but the captain, who's the heavy run getter, went for a couple of runs. The first ball produced a run out. This first over produced 2 wickets, and thereafter, the best batters just seems to have folded. So maybe there'll be a transition lower at another stage of that game. West Indies is going to be playing tomorrow. They're going to play New Zealand in their quarterfinals. And I look forward to that. Tomorrow I'll be home to watch that.
So don't call you tomorrow.
I will answer the phone.
I'm sure you're old enough to remember the term cricket, the game of glory.
Yes, I grew up with that. And always, it doesn't disappear. It's part of the vocabulary.
Yeah,
it remains just like that. I mean, it's like boxing at times. I mean, you're beating a fella up and he throws a big punch from nowhere and you fall flat on your back. And that's it. Having punged up the guy and he throws one punch in vexation or in anger and he wins the fight and he wins the world title. So that's how dramatic these things are.
Listen, talking about dramatic, boy, listen, sometime was it this week or late last week? I saw a release from the CPL, Premier League.
Right, good.
Which said that of the 3 venues where the Irish played cricket, we had the biggest
crowd. But that's 3,000 people in a 17,000-seater stadium for ODI. I saw it on Facebook. And let's say 4,000 just over 4,000 for a T20 in a 17-seater thousand thing. So the kids had nobody. You see, people are failing to get the reality of where we are. Cricket is dying in the Caribbean. I mean, you look at India. I mean, India senior team. They're so strong that they reshuffle and reshuffle for every match. They New Zealand. The people who played Australia and beat Australia 2-1, almost a different side. That's how strong they are. And now, we are in January. George, I have not seen, except Junior Murray's Cricket Academy on Saturday in Tarantine. I have not seen a bat and a ball. In fact, I have not even seen the pitch in Tarantine fixed for a game as yet. They play on the outskirts in Woburn, T20, 35 overs, secondary schools under 15. In one match, a school made, 51 runs? Another one made 250. So the one that made 50, I mean, they just happened to pick up 11 boys and hope that they're in white. So, you know, when I hear the Prime Minister sometimes make these things, say, I could see why we in the Caribbean often likes to be on the big stage and make news out of nothing like this crowd thing. That's not news. I ask the question, are we going to celebrate that? 3,000 people in a 17,000-seater stadium? Is that a boast?
He said that.
And the state bought out maybe half the tickets? Come on.
He said it's an indication. I mean, that the numbers that were there indicated that Grenadians support West Indies cricket.
Well, 3,000 people. That would not pay the bill. The bills at the hotel.
But, I mean, the one that surprised me was Barbados. I mean, come on, you would expect
No,
Barbados.
I don't know. The standard is not there. People have to get to it. The Australian Open. I mean, you just watch this crowd, and the fact that they are Aussies, well, Kyrgios was beaten by Nadal, but watch the contest. Batty is in the last 8. She's the world #1. Australia constantly produce. You cannot be wanting to be in the big league and not producing top quality players. And that's what I'm saying. Look, let's take the thing that gave us the greatest publicity in sports, Kirani James. 2012. I can remember writing an article saying perhaps we should challenge coaches, the government and the Olympic Committee set aside maybe $50,000 to run clinics for grassroots across the nation, including Carriacou and Pitimati. Who will produce, which parish or which village or which whatever will produce the next Kirani James? I mean, St. Vincent in the last 2 Winter Island school games produced better sprinters than Grenada over the 1, 2, and 4. Yes, we may have won an event, but the Vincentians have certainly shown more depth in sprinting. Now, our strength is in field events. So I'm saying we really have had good fortunes, but we are not doing systematic and thought out strategic work. I mean, Anderson Peters. I thought the first thing we would have announced. $25,000 coaching program to produce the next Anderson Peters for 2030 or 2040. Something like that. We're not talking about working with me and your kid. You're talking about our grandkids, our great-grandkids. So you're working with the pre-primary and primary, hopefully to influence their culture in terms of athletics. There's nothing on. We have a big celebration. We make noise in the park. Prime Minister meets with them and they piece of land and somebody get $25,000 and they're done. Just to repeat it, England is spending more than £3 million on a grassroots program with the intention of beating Australia in male and female cricket in the next 5-10 years.
Ryan Jaban says here, in response to your comment about cricket dying, Ryan Jaban says, dying? West Indies cricket is dead. Have a week.
Well, I hope not. I still believe resurrection is possible.
Yeah.
Because it's in the school system. What is not happening is that at the level where it makes sense, the state, I mean, you know, I think it's a positive that we have taken a stand against soft drinks and some of the snacks that we sell in tuck shops in school. You know, put a ban on some of these things. That's a good thing. But again, if you look at our primary health care and our PE programs in schools, they're not like when we were there. Wednesdays in Back Street, you had to be in the yard on the doubles or whatever it is. It's basically, I mean, you go to canteen and if you see some half-dead people, generally they're doing it because the teacher may tell them or the coach may tell them you have to go through the routines. But soon after they're on the phone.
If you're wondering why I'm chuckling, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at a comment here from your partner, Margaret.
Yes, what you said.
Margaret says, Ryan sure is dead. Hearing the strains of Rock of Ages.
Not at all. Well, not yet, not yet. It has money in it, so I suppose that sooner or later some resurrection will happen. Because the Bajans are putting some money into it and doing some work. The Ghanis, likewise, and the Jamaicans are doing some things. So Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, I suspect they were beaten by, who they were beaten by? Red Post were beaten last weekend by Guyana. And Barbados was beaten, 7 times in a row by Guyana, 7 years in a row, or 7 seasons. They defeated them weekend, not this weekend, the previous weekend. So, you know, the work of some of the countries seems to be agitating or inspiring others to do a little better.
So you're seeing a few little rays of hope.
I would think so, because really and truly, I mean, whether we like it or not, it is the one sport the Caribbean certainly have proven to the world that they can be champions, not one-off, but for a long time.
Margaret says, wishful thinking, Ray. Accept my sympathy.
I am not going to say anything about that one. Just to see Margaret, I hope you live long enough to see it.
Lord, please, I'm dying for the day when I can actually have them both sit here with me in the studio.
The program will not finish.
Then Anthuriello says, West Indies cricket needs some Phoenix moments.
Well, the thing is, George, as I saw a piece one day, same story with Grenada, and the CEO, who is an Englishman of West Indies cricket, was saying, he would prefer to see politics stay where politics ought to be, but not to be trying to influence where matches are staged. Meaning that the politicians must not be using that power of influence to say, give me this match and to give Grenada that match. And, you know, let it be something that is shared, if not evenly or equally, but with merit across all the participating countries.
All right. I told my listeners this morning, viewers, that you wanted to talk healthcare this morning.
Good.
So, Mr. Roberts, take it away.
Well, George, healthcare cannot be something that is treated as academics. And perhaps it begins with what we were talking about, because sports and games, that's the one thing, I would say, if not a vast majority of the population, at some stage in their life, particularly at the early stage, under parents' influence, being a 2-year-old, 1-year-old, you start to run about the place and so forth, and that's where it all starts. But George, I think we have reached a stage here where we are more academic than anything else. I mean, the idea or the initiative to have a national health insurance or healthcare program, you have to commend that. But again, where is the debate? I know we have spoken about research that we have done. We have brought in some of the best minds in the Caribbean to do some work with us. But George, that debate has not, to me, come from the grassroots to the top and filtered, and then see what perhaps are the best ideas. Again, my concern is that we may come up with something that ends up just like what sister Caribbean territories. You heard about Antigua. Antigua had one which was more political than anything else and didn't last long because it, you know, a couple of people suffered with cancer and what have you. Think you could have gone to the United States and not realizing 2 or 3 visits will bust the program. Now I'm saying if this thing has to make real sense in Grenada, and it's going to take time, we must, at all stages, recognize primary health care and the need for physical education at a very early stage. Too many obese. We spoke about the health of our kids and the decision of the ministry and the government to put a ban on sweet drinks and what's the other snacks and so on. That's good. But then again, what about the shop next door? Would you be able to stop the kids from running in the shop next door? Because the schools are in the community. So the stock shop does not sell it. But George, I could just walk across the road. Secondly, how convinced are you, the parents? How convinced are you the parents? So George, it's a massive debate that has to be channeled, like how Ruggles and yourself, how many years you guys been going with that? The law made it simple.
Almost 12.
All right. And you still didn't finish. Well, they better consult you. And I'm sure. Because I agree we need more equipment, we need more this, and all of that will come. You know, I went, one of our para-athletes had to get the internationals, he had to see a specialist to determine his disability, if it fits the international criteria. And when I went there with the athlete, the numbers were plentiful. And I said to myself, God, do me one favor, keep me healthy. Because the waiting was long, George. And the young man got attended to 15, 20 minutes. But he was his time was short. There were others longer. And George, there weren't people walking with sticks. I think the vast majority looked like people in their 40s or 30s. There were a couple of young ones there.
So have you seen the proposal that was presented to the government of Grenada by this Florida group?
Well, I know the group and I know the gentleman. I have a lot of respect for him. When I lived in Miami, he's one of the people that called me every day to make sure I had adjustment and so forth. I know the family. So it's a creditable family as far as I know. They have knowledge on what they are embarking on. My only concern is, does it fit the Grenada bill?
Well, that's what I was
That's my only concern. Have we done enough work on the ground? Have we vetted the St. Patrick's, St. Andrews, St. George's communities to see really what are the challenges they face?
Ray, that's the point I'm trying to get at. I'm sure you're aware of a program we do here on Monday mornings called Fiscal Alert with the Bain Sisters.
Right.
And last Monday, they did an eye-opener.
Right.
And boy, did they have a ton of questions and concerns about the proposal, because they took a week or two to scrutinize that proposal and decided to share their observations with the Grenadian people. By the way, on Sunday, we ran the piece from last Monday, and I'll tell you, you should have seen the reaction on Facebook. Not very encouraging. And then yesterday, they did a follow-up piece, and again, the reaction. So it goes along with what you're saying. It seems like, this thing about consultations, things just seem to be dumped on us. And it's not just in health, it's happening with oil and gas.
Well, in everything.
Everything, yeah. We're told that this is the way it's going to be. Yeah? You ask questions, shut up.
Well, I think it's an expedient society where hopefully quick results will benefit whoever is the initiator, rather than thorough. There are some
would benefit instead of what would benefit the country.
Yeah, and these things take more than 6 months and a year. I mean, there is no way you'll get creating an institution like National Health Insurance, because it's going to be an institution. I mean, you look at the NIS, it's 30-something years old, and sometimes I'm defending it because people are saying things that I believe if they had the information, they wouldn't say. I mean, it's not something that's supposed to give you. George was working for whatever amount, and therefore we expect, if not 70% of it, 80% of it, it's what you paid in. So that's what you are going to benefit from. So how do we get this message? Yes, we repeat it once or twice on the radio, print it in the newspaper. That may not be enough. It may have to be something that features prominently in our education system. Yeah, it may have, because that's the only way people can grow into something and really begin to appreciate what it is. Sometimes I have to say to people, they tell me, look, what am I paying this thing for? Because there are people who died at 59 and didn't get anything. But then I remember a day I visited the NIS, and they were telling me that there are 4 people, maybe a little more, who have lived way into the 90s and have exceeded their payments by about 4 or 5 times. So we have to have that kind of information in us, or else we will be chanting long things that perhaps is for our good, but it takes time to grow. And I'm saying that the discussion on health needs more time. Even the United States couldn't get it right with Obama. It needs more time. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good concept. I know it's going to be challenging to sustain, because when I happen to go to the health center in the lines a couple times, got a cut here and there, trying to use a knife. And I walked in there, I saw the numbers. The nurse tell me, Mr. Ray, it's not easy. Every day is a cussing. I said, what happened? She said, well, sometimes we only could do what, we're capable of doing in the facility. Sometimes people want more.
You mentioned that the healthcare, the NHI is a good idea, and I don't think there are too many people out there who would disagree with you. I really don't. This whole process now reminds me of what happened back in the days of the referendum on the CCJ.
Right.
By and large, the overwhelming majority of people, as far as I understood it, supported us ascending to the CCJ. But when came the referendum, we said, why? Because the people just felt it's something that was being forced on them, rather than giving them something that they were aspiring to, something that they wanted, they needed. And I see the same thing happening here. People agree with the NHI, the concept of the NHI, but they want to be a part of it. They don't just want you to dump it, take it or leave it. By the way, just digressing a bit here, a little while ago you were talking about bans. Margaret, your friend, what would Margaret do without Ray? I don't know. I keep losing my Air plug, yeah. Margaret says, Ray, therein lies the folly of these bans. Teach people how to make correct choices when it comes to health and diet. Sugar is not bad, but too much sugar is. Okay? She says, you put a ban on sugar, but there is no talking about physical activity. Even if you ban sugary drinks, there are tons of sugar in other foods that people use, which is why education is a better route than bans.
I certainly echo the sentiment.
My goodness, Max.
And that's what, we should all endeavor to do. And, that's why I say to people, and I have to help me back on sports again. New Zealand got a population of about 3 million people. Let's say, I think it's 4. That's what I think I last saw. And one of the most involved, well, you could say national pastime, sports, all sports. And they are tops in the world in all sports. The reason why people go into sports in that particular country, it didn't happen because the Prime Minister or the Governor or whoever it is, they play sports. It's a family thing. Don't you? Look how they watch cricket. They watch cricket under trees. We build a big stadium to enclose with concrete. Look at their thing. 2 or 3 small buildings and some big trees, and people sit down under the trees with on blankets. So that's what I'm saying. We have to create that maybe community by community. Here is what the endeavor is, not for today, not for 5 years from now, the next election, for 20 years from now. That is the objective. When I say to people, when I travel, I say, we have over 105 athletics meet. People say, that's a lot, a population of 110. I say, yeah. You mean, I said, no, I don't mean big sports meet. Pre-primary kids who are under 5, they have maybe things like lime and spoon and all sorts of funny races and so. But here's what you're doing. The culture starts at pre-primary. And then the parents are there, perhaps it brings out the family. What happens? The son or daughter wins a race, and they go to primary, and you begin to follow that kid right up to secondary school. That's what it is. So that's what I'm saying we need to do in everything in Grenada. Every single thing. I can't imagine the churches are that empty compared to a few years ago.
I want to get to the coronavirus in just a minute, but there's a note here from Brian. He says, Grenadians accessing basic essential care, accessible to all individuals and families in our community, is crucial, but must not come as an imposition and political ploy. GBA, that's the organization that government's working with on this project, GBA is suspect.
Well, I have no evidence to question the credibility of Dr. Castaneda and his company. I don't know. I just have an opinion that we need to be more thorough in whatever we do. Don't just set a 1-year timeline that it should be implemented and make promissory notes knowing that our financial capacity in the long run, because all it takes, 2 or 3 people say, I'm sick with cancer or need dialysis. I mean, and your boss. So I'm saying, let's take time and get it right. Maybe you can start with some small things, focusing on, again, I would repeat, primary health care, ensuring these basic things in the community, they are available.
All right. You've been monitoring the coronavirus?
Yes, I'm one of those who, George, I said to a friend this morning, for me, the one thing, the only thing that I desire is perfect health. Everything else will come after, including money. Money is not even second or third in the list. Because as I say to people, I have seen so many people who I've admired over the years. I mean, in their 80s, couple of them in the 90s, and I asked the question, could money have done that? Because they basically very average people in the community. And then you look at those who have accumulated, maybe even being multi-millionaire. And at 65, 70, you wonder what the hell you did all this work for junior youthful years. So I see now that we are being challenged with that virus. I would expect the state to take the lead in being the one proactively creating the awareness. You know, they did a good job some time ago. They had the PA system in the community going from village to village. I would hope we start with that soon rather than later. And they did some other positive things which I thought did create some awareness where it matters most. Because George, whether you believe it or not, some of the, I meet people who tell me they don't listen to any news or they don't listen to anything other than maybe the stupid FM stations across the Caribbean that plays music that me and you don't understand. And information pertaining to the virus may not be even featured. So I hope we do the things that would reach the very ordinary people in particular.
All right. Ray, let's sidestep a little bit here. Somebody named Ernesto Jose has just posted a comment here which really caught my attention.
Tell me.
Okay? And Ernesto, I hope you're right. Because if you're not, you're in the doghouse. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not kidding. Ernesto says here, George, good morning, George and all. Today at 10 a.m., the health minister will be addressing the latest viruses or virus issues that are active in China and the Ebola virus outbreak we heard about in Trinidad. Did you hear about the Ebola outbreak in Trinidad?
Well, I don't know if that's confirmed. But so much fake news, heaven knows.
Did you hear about it?
Well, I saw a little thing on the Facebook, but I mean, I don't treat it with any seriousness.
Okay. Because of the weight and what was said here, I have actually gone ahead and read it. But I'll tell you something, Ernesto, it had better be right. And I'm not kidding. It had better be right. I say that too in the context of something that is running around right now, social media, about an airplane which landed here overnight. First of all, I heard that there were 250, and then I heard 200 Chinese on an airplane which landed here sometime around 2 o'clock this morning, okay? Now, I will say this. I was just preparing to hit the sack at about that time. And from my balcony out here, I was looking down towards the airport, always do, and I saw the rotating beacon on the top of the control tower, which indicates that a movement, and by movement I mean a landing or takeoff, has either just occurred or is just about to occur. I wondered, you know, it's after 2 o'clock in the morning. The airport closes at, I think, 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
It's about 11.
Right, so what's traffic doing in here at, that time of the morning? So I can confirm that there was a movement. Now, a lot of you out there are probably aware of a little app called Flight Tracker. You can put it on your computer or on your smartphone, whatever, and it allows you to track aircraft movements, taking place around the world, not just in the Grenada area. Okay. And nowhere on that flight tracker was I able to see any movement into or out of the airport. And that is not impossible, because I have seen a lot of situations lately where I will sit on the balcony here and actually watch airplanes landing but they're not showing up on flight tracker. Why? Because their transponders are turned off. Transponder is a little black box in an airplane, not the black box you keep hearing about. It's a little device that sends out a signal to air traffic control so that they can track you, okay? I have seen, and pretty much always, you're talking about corporate airplanes, okay? They are coming and going here sort of anonymously, all right? So I don't know whether this airplane that came in had 250 people. I subsequently saw a note that said there were only, I think, 6 or 11 people on the airplane, which means it was a corporate airplane, a small aircraft. I don't know, but I'll tell you, when I get off the air here, I'm going directly to the airport authority to find out whether or not such a flight can be confirmed, okay? I say that because I think we need to get to the bottom of this. One, because of the unusual time of that movement, and two, the allegations that the plane was full of Chinese. I'm always skeptical because, like Ray was just saying, there's so much garbage out there on social media. Ernesto here is saying his will carry that news conference at 10 a.m. Who is his?
I guess the Minister of Health.
You know, even as I'm sitting here reading this, I am checking my email, and I have checked all 5 accounts, and I see nothing about any press conference at 10 o'clock this morning. I'm not saying it wasn't sent out. It certainly didn't come to me, okay? And I received, look, up to yesterday, this morning I read the release that came from the GIS yesterday about this coronavirus outbreak. So, Margaret says there's absolutely nothing on an Ebola outbreak. Now there is a spoof article from 2014. Ernesto boy, I'll tell you, if you're wrong on this, that's it. That's it. Ryan Jabon says, hold on a minute here. Ernesto says, Mr. Neil Alexander just confirming that on GBN. Okay, if somebody was on GBN confirming that there will be a press conference, that's great. Margaret is asking, Ernesto, when and where in Trinidad did this supposed Ebola outbreak occur?
Well, I don't bother with things like that. As I said, I don't even treat with it.
You don't, but people do. There are a lot of people out there who are gullible, Ray.
Well, I suspect people like TV and sensation, some people, but things like that, I try not to give it any standing. I wouldn't dignify it.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like, as I said, the numbers that was mentioned, if that occurs, undoubtedly, it's an open place. There are taxi drivers, there are cleaners, villagers, and so many things. I live down that area, actually. And you have to see that number traveling out. They can't go anywhere else. Well, yes, they could go by sea to somewhere, but quite the mode of transport is get into vehicles. So these things are, in my opinion, very easy to verify. I would think that maybe some people did come.
You know, you say very easy to verify. I just said that when I get out of here, I'm going to contact the GTA. Now, Ray, because of the difficulty many of us in the media have obtaining information, I would be more than surprised if I do get a confirmation about this movement at the airport last night.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because, everybody wants to keep make sure that the boss is not disturbed by any comment, and therefore, if you keep quiet, there's no need for the boss to maybe call you and ask you, you make a mistake there, why did you have to talk to George Grant or whoever it is?
Exactly.
Right, so, but I said in Grenada, the truth is easy to surface, particularly in an open area like that. I mean, it's just like I saw the debate on the cricket about the stadium must fill the capacity. I mean, it's easy to get at. The West Indies Cricket Board has on its site numbers, attendance for every game, every international game that is played in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And so it is around the world.
Margaret says, given the potential for panic, we have to be careful about what information we spread, and that's absolutely true. Now,
well, George, you have to remember that some people, unlike you, they would love to create that panic. There are people who like to create a crisis for those who perhaps fall prey to that kind of information.
if this, and I'm starting to believe now about this 10 o'clock press conference, because if it's true, and let's say it is, it would be on right now. It's 21 minutes after 10, and supposedly this got started at 10 o'clock, so.
Well, sometimes they're late, but I would believe that it has to be addressed, because when I saw it this morning, I said to somebody who called me frantically worried that the state has to take the lead in speaking out and being truthful on those who may come and those who may go.
Okay.
Because it's going to be speculation is going to fester. Fake news, as you call it, going to have a field day. So the state has to be very clear that 5 people passed through Ponceline. They came by the United States, and their mechanism in the United States or in wherever it is where they perhaps they made this test, whatever tests, and they were able to come through that process. We too may have some system here, I hope, in place. So I would think the state has that responsibility. If not, fake news will have a field day. And
you know, that's why I want to check, Ray, because this movement, which allegedly took place at 2 o'clock this morning, it could have been an innocent thing. You know, an airplane might have been flying over and had some difficulty and came down. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Let's not speculate. Let me make my phone calls.
All right.
And tomorrow morning I should have something to say. Okay, bro. Anything else up your sleeve?
well, I would want to encourage as many people as possible to give some support to the Junior Murray Cricket Classic that will be staged Saturday, I think Saturday, in St. Andrew, Saturday, Sunday. In any case, this weekend for sure. It's going to be featuring a number of former West Indies Test players. If I'm not mistaken, I think Curtly Ambrose. I see his name on the list there. Ian Bradshaw, who played for the West Indies at one point and was a coach. Quite a number of Stuart Williams, who played for West Indies as an opening batsman. Ian Allen, a long list of prominent people from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And it's all in St. Andrew. It's Progress Park, $20 for adults, $10 for children. I would say, George, give Junior Murray as much support as possible. He does a wonderful job.
You're going to be there?
I'm not too sure. We have our Independence table tennis tournament on Saturday. And Sundays, I normally prefer to stay home.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is possible. If it's on, I would go on Sunday.
Okay.
I need to go in St. Andrew. I haven't been there since November.
Ah?
No, I mean, since
you're slipping, right?
Yeah, since November. Well, George, I gave up the roads on the December month because the vehicles are moving so fast. Yeah. I don't think I fit. Yeah. So
driving's a nuisance.
Right.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
You're welcome.
My dear friends, just about time to pull the curtain down. But before we go, as always, parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Matthew chapter 10, verses 26, 27, and 28. So, do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the daylight. What is whispered in your ear, proclaim from the roofs. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Check it out yourselves. Matthew 10, 26, 28. Okie dokie, my dear friends, I think that's going to do it for Georgie Porgy on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. We're so thankful, or should be so thankful to be alive. I thank you for joining us, and I do pray God's blessings. By His grace, let's get together again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Okay?